Dobar dan. Well, if today I had to talk on what makes me happy, it would be quite easy. It would be just sufficient to say, to be with you at the TEDx, this is really a great experience. But I have a more difficult task. So more in general, I shall try to explain to you, to uncover what makes happy people. And this is not going to be easy. But the first question is, what is happiness? I think there is one specific poem that can help us out in this. It says, I asked God to give me happiness. And God said, no. He said, he gives blessings. Happiness is up to me. So we all have many blessings, but sometimes we don't realize it, or we don't consider them blessings. It took also some time to me to understand what was the real meaning, how important it was to me, my country, Italy, and what it represented in my life. So as Italian ambassador, my task is to represent my country. And I think this is a great privilege. I often meet new people, and when I meet new people, they say, I've been to your country, I visited your country, it's a wonderful country, you are lucky. And I think indeed I am. So I will try to go through some blessings, and I'm sure that you will find what I say really applicable also to your country. And I think these blessings that I will mention can really contribute to our happiness. At least this is what they did for me. So I hope it will work out also for you. But before I start, because I will take as an example Italy. But before I start, I need to know a little bit more about you. So how many of you have been to Italy? Please raise your hand. Okay, I'm happy. You see, I'm even happier to see all this. So if so many of you, if I would have said how many of you have been more times and with two hands, and that would be a lot. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I think if you've been to Italy, let's say so many times, or so many of you, if not all of you, I think because you wanted to spend some pleasant time and be happy. So what is one particular beauty that can be referred to a country? It's beauty. And of course, beauty can be seen under different aspects, under different forms. You can think of art, you can think of landscape. And if you leave or if you visit Italy, it's very, very likely that you will find yourself in a place with a lot of history behind and with a lot of artistic tradition. And just to give you an example, I'll show you this small town. This small town is one of the many that wonderful cities, villages, I wouldn't say a city, it's really a village, that you find in central Italy. They are all well-preserved, medieval. And this is Città della Pieve. It's in Umbria, and that's where I was born. And the house you see on the right, it's my house in Città della Pieve. So Città della Pieve is known in Italy mainly, not only because it's a wonderful village, but because there was a famous painter called Perugino who was born there. And of course, what you see here is one of his masterpieces, one of his paintings, which is in Città della Pieve. And the reason why I show this to you, well, it's a wonderful painting, first of all, of course. But you can see on the back this wonderful landscape. And that was how the landscape were represented in the Renaissance time. And it's not very different today, to be honest with you. But if you look at this landscape, I think you immediately have a sense of peacefulness and harmony. But also, if you think for a while on how these masterpieces were done, and I think if you reflect on this, you will find that it's not very different from the technique that we should adopt in building a happy life. Such a masterpiece is done one brush stroke at a time. It takes time, takes patience. Sometimes you make errors and then you have to correct them. Think about it and you will realize that this is how we should go about in pursuing happiness. But let's move now to another blessing that we have in Italy, and I think we are most famous for. I'm not revealing you any secret if I talk about food. So in Italy, we have an incredible variety of typical food. From region to region, from city to city, even from village to village, you will find different food. This is an example you can see here, Italian cheeses. Well, we have in Italy, the estimate is that we have in Italy 600 different Italian cheeses, out of which 50 are the so-called protected designation of origin. And again, I think no surprise if I tell you that more or less the same applies to wine. We have a wide variety of wine. And if I tell you Chianti, if I tell you Rosso di Montalcino, I tell you Barbera, Pinot or Prosecco, I think you all have had this hopefully on your table. This is why good wine accompanies always good food. They go together. Maybe this explains why in Italy you find 260,000 wine producers. I think it's a quite wide variety that you have. But of course, if you think of food of Italy, there is another element which comes to your mind, I'm sure. And this is pasta. This quote by Federico Fellini, you all know, Dolce Vita, Otto e Mezzo, very famous. But he said, life is a combination of magic and pasta. So magic, there's something magic also in what you eat, if you really enjoy it. And of course, you have to consider that a balanced and varied diet, it's really essential for a healthy body and a happy life. And what is better than the Mediterranean diet to have, a varied diet? And I think it's not by chance that this Mediterranean diet has been included into the list of intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO. So in fact, it's called intangible, but if you think of pasta, I think it's very tangible. But of course, you have other blessings that we should consider on top of art and good food. Another blessing, certainly, it's weather. And I think Italy is also appreciated for this. We have plenty of sunshine, and we have different seasons. And I think we all agree that when the sun is shining outside, we can go walk, we all feel much better. And that makes quite a difference. And at the same time, I think the body really needs to experience the cycle of nature, the different seasons. And of course, when I think of seasons, it immediately comes to my mind also one very famous piece of music. Okay, this is called Four Seasons. It's by Antonio Vivaldi. It's a famous Venetian composer of the 17th century. And it's not by chance that such a wonderful piece, it's entitled to Four Seasons. I've always loved music. That's why I wanted to share it with you. And I think music, listening to music can lift your spirits. It can really help a lot. And we have a great tradition in Italy, not only in classical music, but also in opera. And also, we have this tradition in traditional popular songs. So, how many of you recognize this start? Try. Well, more than I expected. If it is true, I'm very happy. Or just you're doing this for making me happy. But anyway, this is O Sole Mio. It's a traditional Neapolitan song of the 19th century. It's one of the most famous Italian traditional songs. And of course, this is related to Naples. But the reason why I want you to listen to it is that when you start listening to this kind of music, it immediately makes you smile. It makes you feel better, and it makes you feel or think immediately of Italy or Naples in particular. So this is the best proof, I think, on how music can affect your mood and how it can move your emotions, and in this case make you also think about a specific country. But now I want to share you another little secret which is related to the Italian way of happiness. And another element that I think influences how we feel, it's how we see ourselves, how other people see ourselves. And of course, if they appreciate our style, for example, we feel better. So I'm sure that now you're all looking at the way I'm dressed, because what I'm going to introduce, it's another blessing, which is fashion. And I think Italians are well known for the attention that they put in the way they dress. And if you walk down the street and you see a group of people, tourists, you don't listen to them. Otherwise, it's easy. You listen to the Italian, too easy. But you just watch them. I think you can immediately spot those who are Italians. And you do it just looking at the way they move and their stylish outfit. So we talked about art, weather, food, music, elegance. And as I said at the beginning, these are all important factors, and they are part of the Italian way of life, but you can find them in any country, in many countries. So, but that doesn't certainly mean that all the people who live under those conditions are happy. So why this? We haven't. I think again we can use a quote to help us out a little bit. This is a quote by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor and philosopher, that's why you see this, of the 2nd century after Christ. And he said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So happiness depends on you. Happiness depends on all of us. But so again, what is the essential element at the core of living a happy life? I think we can really enjoy what we have and what has been given to us only if we appreciate it. So I think you should look carefully around you and always remember to count your blessings. This is the best bet for reaching happiness. Thank you.